Finally, after long last and after a 5-hour delay, I am on the road for my first ever elk hunt. I'm picking up Josh, I think in Montana tomorrow, and then we'll make it the rest of the way to Washington, and we're gonna go hike around and see if we can get into some elk. Again, we're new at this, we've never done it, but it should be fun. It's gonna make for a lot of driving, 24 hours of driving for me one way, but I got some C.S. Lewis on tape, and I think that'll make the time go by quickly. So come along, because I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to be learning, and so I hope you can learn with us. Question of the day, though, in the wee morning hours is, what is your opinion of wall drug? So if any of you have ever driven on 90 around South Dakota, you've obviously seen the signs, and it seems like every family vacation that had a road trip somehow ended up at wall drug. And so my question to you is, and I want you to leave this in the comment, what's your opinion of wall drug? If you've ever been there, was it worth it or was it not worth it whatsoever? Question of the day.
All right, so Cody just picked me up in Bozeman, Montana, and gave me my awesome new hat that he didn't tell me about before I actually put it on. Pretty stoked about that. We got a mountain view all around us, and we've got about 8 hours to go yet, times 4:18, so we'll probably stop somewhere for the night and hit it hard tomorrow, so super excited. Any thoughts, Cody?
Back on the road.
Yep. Hey Cody, you got some bugs on your windshield.
I know I do. You ready to find some elk?
Oh, good morning. It's 6:23 in the morning. We slept in the truck last night and we're getting ready to go. High hopes for the day.
As Randy Newberg would say, I'm not sure what Jeff Bezos is up to today, but he's having a crappy day compared to us.
Yep. So this year has been a year of fires, and as you can see, the fire burned right up to the edge of the road here. The ground is charred and some of the trees are dead or dying. So we're driving through this canyon with the smell of smoke and ash all over the place.
If you're a firefighter, we salute you for your dedication and work.
Alright, through the haze and the smoke, we are entering Washington. It is both of our first times in the state of Washington. And it's not that beautiful right now because of all the smoke, so we'll see how it goes. So we have arrived. Where are we, Cody?
We are in Washington, in the unit that we're thinking about hunting, and thankfully the smoke is a little bit better here than where we just came through. So we'll be on national forest ground for much of the hunt, and definitely some steep portions, so should be fun. But
It's a cliff. What he's saying is there's cliffs.
all right, you yard sale is over. Just grabbing a quick snack here before we head in. Parked on the side of the unit that we're going to hunt, and we're going to just drop off this cliff and see what happens. I think the game plan changed a little bit for us because it is so smoky, so I think it is just a boots on the ground sort of deal.
And there was also someone in the exact spot where we had picked to park and walk in. So that's part of hunting on public land.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So this unit is a relatively high-profile unit, and because of that, our tag, which is a general tag, is actually only good for a spike. However, we picked this unit simply because we wanted to see elk. So instead of having a tag that's good for any bull and just never seeing anything, we elected to try to do the spike route, and with hopes that we see some decent elk. So if we end up being super close to a 370 bull and don't shoot, that's why. But we'll try.
Yep.
That's all we can hope for. So we're gonna hit the mountain here soon. Now that we're all packed up and
we're ready to backpack in and pitch a tent anywhere we end up. So
yeah, so we packed enough stuff for one night. So that's the hope, is we'll walk in and just stop where we stop and
what time is it right
come
now?
out the next day.
Well,
Slightly after noon, I think.
yeah.
So we got half this day and then tomorrow, and then we'll go from there.
We've made it about 100 yards. How are you feeling?
It's steep.
It's steep.
Should be in better practice by the end of this thing.
I think you just did a fly call based on how they're swarming me. Cody, what did we just find?
Well, we're pushing in here. We're kind of in, obviously, the drainage between the two ridges, and we've been seeing some old sign, but we did just see a rub up there.
Fresh.
A little bit fresher. Scat here. So it's more promising than anything we've seen so far. But we'll see. We'll keep pushing in here. See if we can turn something up. It's thick though, and steep. So makes for a good time. This is pretty tore up right here. Fresh. After the last rain. For sure. I don't know when that was. The whole place is on fire. is positive, I guess. So we just stopped at this creek that you can probably hear in the background. To cool off a bit. We're in the thick and nasty stuff now, a little bit less steep. And we've kind of just been following elk sign down with the water. And we've seen some pretty fresh elk sign, but we just can't see very far. We haven't gotten anything to respond to bugles or cow calls, so I don't know, we'll keep going. We're new, we don't really know what we're doing.
Ain't that the truth? But it's been fun. I think we've seen a lot more sign than we anticipated. We can see a lot less than we anticipated as well, both because of the smoke and because it's so thick in here. But yeah, we're pretty high spirits. It's real steep, but it's leveled out now, so we feel good.
Just been busting it through this thick stuff, thinking that we moved out of the fresh sign, and we came across probably the freshest rub we've seen so far. So that's encouraging.
Alright, so part of hunting, what just happened?
Real life elk hunting.
That just dropped onto the ground.
Thankfully I noticed. But
do you need that to hunt?
I think we do need that.
Oh.
Or at least not to necessarily hunt, but
to aim.
So that's why you always bring Allen wrenches in your pack when you're on these hikes. So we'll tighten this back up, but then we're gonna have to go back and do some sighting in tomorrow.
Alright, tight.
So we're okay.
We'll have to resight it in.
We'll have to resight that. So, that's how it goes.
Cody, how are we feeling?
I'd be feeling better if my bow didn't break again.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, as you guys saw, we did Total Archery Challenge, a couple days bushwhacking in North Dakota, and it was totally fine. And so now, I don't know what to do.
It shot clean even too, yeah, well, No, 5 hours ago.
Yeah, so before we started, it was shooting fine. But our bushwhacking strategy seems to be taking a toll on both us and our gear, so.
Yep. We went really, really hard today, and I'm not sure it was the best decision because, in a sense, we were going in blind, which we couldn't really help necessarily because of the haze and the smoke. You can't see that far, and we've never been here, but
And we've never elk hunted.
yeah, neither of us really has a clue how to elk hunt. Cody's better than me, but yeah, so kind of an interesting first day to say the least. And I mean, we came upon some really good sign. That was encouraging, but that's kind of the high point for today. We've got about 700 yards left on this trail till we hit the trailhead, and then we'll pitch a couple tents and call it good until tomorrow, at which point we'll have like a 1.5 kilometers to get back to the truck uphill.
Something like that. Although you're the only person that uses kilometers in the U.S.
Well, you just told me 700 meters.
I said yards.
All right. Anyway.
Kilometers. But, yeah, so objective then for tomorrow is get to the truck and work on the bow and then come up with a new game plan.
And recover a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. The end.
I'm sore. And so we got some branched chain amino acids, or BCAAs, that have helped me quite a bit in the past with soreness and just energy depletion. These are made by a company called Mountain Ops. And so generally I'm actually really skeptical of marketing and supplement companies, but Mountain Ops has really stood out to me once I gave it a shot, and they really helped me. So we'll put the link for these in the description below, but they're pretty good. You should give them a shot.
Part of any good camp is fighting with the gas stove.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are fire. Gonna eat like kings. So we got the water boiling. Because for me tonight, I'm gonna try one of these freeze-dried meals. This company is astonishingly local. I just realized this past week, so I figured I'd give them a shot. And I don't know, I've never really had one before, actually. I don't think I'll probably try it by itself, but planning to zazz it up with some cheese, throw it on a tortilla with some tortilla chips, but I'll keep you posted. Right, that's what it looks like dried. So we're gonna add our boiling water and let her sit. See what comes out. All right, so we are boiling. I'm gonna hold this short. Ooh, that's a little warm. But we are boiling. And let's see how much we can spill.
None.
All right. Okay, so it says to stir thoroughly. Will it melt my plastic spoon?
Oh wait, I have a. Here, use this.
No, this is okay. I think it's alright. So stirring thoroughly. Oh yeah, okay, so we got some stuff happening. We'll put that there and seal her up. Plenty of space for the food and the water, so that's good. I've actually heard or saw a trick on some guys hunting from YouTube about these. If this seals nice and tight, which it's not, but we'll just fold that over. One thing is actually tip it upside down and shake it because it's in the bottom of those corners. So, all right, we'll let her sit.
Sometimes all you need is some canned food. So I'm going the canned route tonight. I do have the freeze dried as well, but I'm just taking care of some of the heavier stuff because I can, and it's all in the truck, which is right there. So first we have canned chicken, which is always way too juicy. So I'm gonna let that juice out away from Cody's tent.
I'm gonna let that breathe like a fine wine.
Mm-hmm. Just give you some wafts during the evening. And then just heat that up there. And then vent up this red beans and rice.
Whoa.
That didn't work.
Did that get on the lens? It got on my arm.
Let me look at it. Hold it up
No,
to me.
it's fine.
I don't think it did. It's already heating up there pretty good.
Yeah, I can actually turn this on. It's killing your grate.
Well, the grate's fine. That's needs to get manned up a little anyway. I'll let those heat up together, and then it'll be tortillas and burritos for me.
Simple as that.
There it is.
Here's your job moment for the day.
Oh, darn it!
Crunch up chips to put on your tortillas with every burrito and taco you eat.
Every time.
It's
It
delicious.
makes them 10 times better, gives them a crunch. Oh my goodness. I don't understand why it's not like common practice.
Yeah.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
Right. That's the consensus from us.
Mm-hmm.
It's our secret. If you haven't done it, try it.
Mm-hmm.
How's it looking there?
Good. Can't complain. Just trying to stir it up a little bit. Get more or less evenly heated.
The table is set.
Can you tell we're living our best bachelor life away from our beautiful wives? We are, yeah. No nice meals here. That's for sure.
But kudos to our wives, both pregnant, and both allowing us to come on this trip. And Josh also has a little one, so
She's an absolute legend. Shout out to wifey.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm going to take y'all to Culinary 101. We went to McDonald's this morning. I got hot sauce. I didn't use it, but I'm going to use it now to make the perfect meal. Just going to dip a little hot sauce on there, get a little bit of extra flavor, get a little bit of oomph, a little bit of spice, and not drop the plastic corner. All right. That's first on the chips on the tortilla. And then after that, we're going to take our beans and our rice, mix it up, get the heat all good, and then lay it all the way across there. Perfect. And then again. Perfect. And last but obviously not least, our touch of protein. Great value canned chicken. This whole meal probably costs about $2.50 or something like that. And then, you know, we can have more for later if we want to put stuff in with the ice or whatnot. So, good stuff. Thank you, Jesus, for this wonderful food. Perfect.
All right, time's up. Let's see what she looks like here. little oily, but that largely resembles chili mac with beef. We'll see how she tastes.
All right, Cody, we anxiously await hearing the verdict on this Trailtopia chili mac with beef.
And actually, I mean, it smells all right. It's the first bite. I don't know. That's pretty good. Could use a little bit more pizzazz in terms of the flavor, but
You are adding cheese and things?
I'm gonna throw it on a tortilla with some cheese and chips, similar to Josh. But it's not bad by itself for sure.
Awesome.
8 out of 10.
Nice.
All right, we got one with tortilla chips and the other one with corn chips, for diversity's sake. I'm gonna spoon some on. I'm gonna save back some of the liquid. It's another pro of putting chips on your taco or burritos, that there's some absorption.
Speaking of liquid, my burrito's leaking at the moment, which is that slurping sound behind the camera.
All right.
But yeah, exactly, because actually the only bad thing about putting things on tortillas is sometimes you get leakage. But as Cody mentioned, whenever you have chips on there, they absorb any of the leakage and you do not encounter the same kinds of issues.
This is gonna be good.
That looks amazing. How's the beef in there? Seasoning good?
It's not bad. It could be, could use a little bit more pizzazz, but we've got good old Aldi brand taco style cheese. Let's top things off. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'd like to catch a first bite and final verdict for that beauty of a meal. Almost lost the cheese.
The cheese, man. That would have been a tragedy.
Tragedy.
That does it. After a hard day. Oh yeah. That hits the spot. 10 out of 10 here.
There we go. A perfect rating.
Good morning. As you can see, we are not in the woods this morning. We did not hike in the dark for the sake of we needed to recover and I needed to fix my bow. So here we are, well rested for once.
Yeah, 10 whole hours I think both of us got at least.
Yeah, it gets dark pretty early, relatively early, so we went to bed on time after a great dinner. So another day.
We're a little bit at a loss as far as strategy goes, but we're going to take it easier today. As you might be able to see, it's still hazy, so it's not like we can go spend a couple hours at the top of a hill and really glass out for miles. I mean, visibility, I would guess, is half a mile at best, and it fades out pretty drastically after that. So
yeah, we're definitely feeling a little bit handicapped as first-time elk hunters, so we have zero experience. We can't glass because of the smoke. We haven't heard any bugles, so calling at this point has been not useful. So we're kind of, yesterday we just bumbled around in the woods and took a toll on ourselves and our equipment. So, so that's fun, but that's real life, and we're not professionals, nor are we hunting in a pen. So, elk hunting 2020 in a fire zone.
hazardous air quality.
Hazardous air quality. So Josh is working on his breakfast here. Coffee and oatmeal.
Cody doesn't eat breakfast.
I don't eat breakfast, as
Something
Josh
wrong with
mentioned.
him.
And I don't do coffee, so I'm sticking with Mountain Ops Ignite, which is kind of a pre-workout caffeinated thing. And oddly enough, I've had some digestive issues my whole life, and this is one of two things that has helped that. So that's what I'm digging into, and Josh is gonna dig into his.
All right. We've got our cheap Kroger brand coffee for all you Midwesterners who know Kroger. And we're putting it in there, and then on to the heat we go.
Do you need that other piece?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I don't do coffee.
And you're missing out. I mean, but half of me at this point says if you haven't experienced coffee, you never will and you shouldn't. But there's so much joy that's in the process of coffee, and I'm not a coffee snob whatsoever. I mean, look at me, I'm a mess. But yeah, it has auto light, right? Or do you have to?
Yeah, spin it all the way.
All right, cool. Decent. There's the coffee. And then I'll have to heat up some water for the oatmeal. Maple and brown sugar, the best.
Sounds positive. It is working.
We've made ourselves a decent little pot of coffee here for me, as you can see. Ash flavored, ever so slightly, just for that extra little. So
Nice black burnt percolated church coffee. That's what we got.
Mm-hmm. What is floating around in there? Check it out. There's like stuff floating around in it. Like coming up to the top. There we go. In goes the water to the oatmeal. Perfect. Lid on so we avoid ash buildup. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is breakfast.
Sure looks appetizing. We had some issues with equipment. So as you can see, our sight, or my sight on the bow, came off. And so not only did it happen once, but it actually happened twice, which is more concerning, because anything can come loose once, but the fact that it came off twice
Right after being tightened.
makes me much more concerned. So I'm going to put this back on and do some sighting in, but we're going to have to be really careful and watch this for sure. Not cool. I mean, this site it's a well-respected site, so I don't know what the deal is, but we're gonna tighten things up and get things back, sighted in where they should be, and hopefully that resolves the issue, but we'll see. So upon further inspection, the issue is worse than what I thought. So we have a crack in our sight, which is not good. So I don't know if we can tighten that down or what, but we'll do what we can.
All right, Cody, tell us what's going on.
So we're feeling even more defeated than what we just were. So called a couple archery shops in the town that's a couple hours away. They don't carry this brand. And so we have a couple options that we're deciding on. Drive a couple hours, get a cheapo bow sight, come back and sight it in and burn
A day.
Yeah, over a day probably. Or we're going to go in, do some hiking, essentially no bow, in kind of another area of the unit that we're looking at, and see if we can get anything to respond whatsoever, get a feel for the terrain over there and sign and hunting pressure, and then based off that make a call whether or not we want to take the time to essentially take a day at that point to go get a bow site or call it. I mean, we both have obligations after this trip, shortly after this trip. So we'll see. Tough first day really did it in for us, I guess. And besides for that and feeling super handicapped by the smoke and lack of bugles, I don't know. It's hard not to feel down at this point in time for us, us rookie elk hunters. So we'll see. We'll see what we do. But definitely feeling defeated. It was a rough day yesterday all around.
Yeah, all of our gear seems...
We are.
Well, as you can see with Cody's sight hanging sadly off with the broken... Yeah, well, I don't know if that's going to show or not, but yeah, quite a day for us.
We're in rough shape.
Yeah.
We're in a rough state. We're going in light. No bow, because it's broken. But we're going to scout out this other piece of the unit that we have some intel on, just to see if we can get something to bugle, because the smoke we think is worse than what it was yesterday. And so if we can't get anything working, then we have to reevaluate the situation and go from there. But we're gonna go on a jaunt into here and see what we can work up. Smoke. It's all just smoke where we should be able to glass and look for elk.
We're gonna walk down the edge of the spine and see what we can see. A couple bugles, see what happens.
Gotta try.
Yep.
Gotta try. Silent, smoky abyss.
There weren't even any echoes. I feel like the smoke has deadened the acoustics.
Can't see, can't bugle. It's weirdly apocalyptic almost.
Yeah, it feels like the world's kind of closing in.
Like a floating island and everything else is just ether.
Yeah. I feel like there's a metaphor for our trip somewhere in that.
Well, I made it back to Minnesota after a long drive. I dropped Josh off in Bozeman and made it the rest of the way. And it really gave me some time to think and reflect on what just happened in Washington. And really, we ended up leaving with our tails between our legs. And after thinking about it, we really went in over ambitious. We were going to go far into the unit and, you know, be these excellent young new elk hunters, and really that caused us to be in a deficit that neither we nor our equipment really could recover from, and so we left. And with the smoke on top of things and no bugles, you know, I don't know. It's difficult to get over the feeling of quitting in a way, and the self-loathing and I guess hatred that that comes out of that. But then again, you know, in my life, I'm often susceptible to what's called the sunk cost fallacy, where just because I have time and money invested in something, I continue to do it. But I didn't do that in this case. And we came home. So I don't know. What would you guys have done? I'd like to get your opinions in the comments, and just it's going to take some time to recover from this one and continue processing. So, but in the meantime, I've got a lot of unpacking to do, and the Minnesota bow opener is just in a couple days. So got to get ready for that. Got to fix the bow and move on and move forward. So hopefully we can put out some more exciting things moving forward. It's been a pretty slow and rough fall already, which is weird to say considering that it's still so early. But I appreciate the support, and we appreciate you guys watching. So thank you.